Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for being out under extraordinary circumstances, and for those who are watching at home. Just a couple of quick items to set the stage here. We found out late yesterday the governor issued a very sweeping executive order, including some mandatory and recommended courses of action to deal with the ongoing COVID-19 emergency. And we're doing our best to honor all of those. But in addition, this board had an ongoing legal responsibility to pass a budget, an initial budget to be sent to Atlantic County on or before March the 20th. While I would have preferred to have a virtual meeting, there was simply no time to set that up and put adequate notice of that out and make that deadline to get our budget in. So we are going to have an expedited meeting this evening in order to make all these things come together. So two quick items. The first is that I want to thank everyone. I want to start with Dr. Gruccio, her enthusiasm, her work ethic, and I want to thank her entire team for their work. And Chandra is here, and Jamie is here. I want to thank them all. I want to thank board members for bearing with us during this difficult time, our principals, our supervisors, all of our staff, especially, our teachers, our paras working with the kids. I can't thank them enough. Food service, thank you guys. IT, so through this, our kids are going to continue to learn. Learning is going to continue, and those who need meals are going to get meals. We are EHT proud, we are EHT strong, and we will get through this. Okay, so that being said, we are going to move briskly through tonight's agenda. I would like to have everybody not only out of here but home by 8 o'clock, which is our recommended curfew at this time. So with that, I'm going to first ask for a resolution for the minutes. That would be 2.1 through 2.5. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Mrs. Gilbert Floyd, motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Price.
Motion and second. Any discussion on the minutes? Can we have roll call?
Mr. Delabarca?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilbert Floyd?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mrs. Summer? Mrs. Summer?
Yes.
Thank you. Mrs. Salagi?
Yes.
Mrs. Byrd?
Yes.
And Mr. Castellano?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So again, I want to just thank everyone, all of our staff, all of our faculty for doing tremendous work, and wish everyone, the best of luck. We will get through this. And again, our next meeting we will be looking to do through means of technology, virtual. I don't have the specifics yet for you. So with that, the next thing is the superintendent is going to give us a brief update on our emergency COVID-19 efforts.
Thank you, Mr. Castellano, for your kind words and acknowledgement of the Egg Harbor Township staff and teachers and administration. We appreciate it, and I do as well. So you said it very well, but as I sit here, I just want to reiterate that we are officially closed. We're officially in emergency management mode. Our buildings and buses are now being prepared to be sanitized. It's an amazing sight to see over 100 buses parked and ready to go. And our facilities department had another meeting this morning, and their team is ready to be deployed into the buildings and into the buses. A wonderful food service staff that we have. The department met yesterday in preparation. The lunches began being prepared yesterday, and 6 o'clock this morning the ladies were in work. The Lunches were out on curbside at Davenport Primary, Egg Harbor Township High School, and here at Balder. I had the opportunity to visit all 3 sites and thank the personnel that were out there, but all smiles, all hands on deck, and that's what it's all about. It's about teamwork, and I have to say that everybody has gone above and beyond what they're expected to do in a short amount of time to prepare us for this situation. So I appreciate all the efforts that were put forth, but I truly appreciate the support from the Board of Education, to the board members who reached out to see how we were doing, and also respected the time that we needed to get through this. And I appreciate the support from Mrs. Wazin and the EHTEA. They've been great through all this. We were able to tend needs, but more so there were teachers and staff were reaching out to us and saying, what else can we do? What else can we do? So that just talks about the family that we have here in Egg Harbor Township, and the support that we have for each other, and the love that we have for each other and for our students. And we always say students first, and still students first. They're home now, and I say I worry about them each and every day when they're here under our roofs, and now I find myself worrying even more that they're out and about, and I could just hope that, and if there's a message to the students, that we're here for you. We've prepared those lessons. If there's anything you need, we've shared phone calls, we've shared email addresses, there's social media, and I'm sure you'll find someone on campus if it comes down to that you need some help. But just know that we're here for you to support you through this. And again, thank you, everyone.
Thank you for that, Dr. Cruccio, and I echo all of your sentiments, and to our students and families as well. If there's anything that you need and anything more that we can do for you, please reach out, and we will do our very best. With that, we are going to move to an abridged budget 4.0 presentation. I'll turn that over to Ms. Anaya.
In light of tonight's meeting, we decided against doing a full presentation. Everything is available online. We did present a balanced budget 2 meetings ago. Very minor changes have happened. We've done some breakage in salary. Other costs have gone up that are renewals that have come through. Price of everything really goes up every year. But we were able to still come through and balance the budget. The lease purchase price did go down as we cut some of the things out. Not a lot of major changes. So with that, we have on the agenda for action during finance is a total general budget fund of $139,427,977, and local levy of $81,038,032. Special revenue of $35,45,569 with no local levy. Debt service $88,13,926 with a local levy of $55,71,073 for a total budget of $151,787,472, of which $86,609,105 is a local levy.
Thank you very much. With that, we are going to now open the meeting for public comment. We are going to have just one public comment session this evening, but anyone who wishes to speak to the board, please come and do so. Questions or comments for up to 3 minutes. Give your name and address. If anyone has any comments, speak now. Okay. Seeing none, then we're going to go ahead and get right into our voting. And first, I'm going to be looking for a motion on item 6.1, which is submission of the 2021 budget to the County of Atlantic. May I have a motion, please?
Motion. Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion on the budget?
Anyone on the phone line or anyone here?
Any discussion on the phone or here? Okay. May I have roll call, please?
Mr. Delabarca?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis? Mrs. Gilbert Floyd?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mrs. Summer?
Yes.
Mrs. Salagi?
Yes.
Mrs. Byrd?
Yes.
And Mr. Castellano?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much for the passage of our budget. Next, I'm going to be looking for a motion on item 6.2, transfers for ratification. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Any discussion on transfers? Roll call, please.
Mr. Delabarka,
Yes.
Mr. Ellis, Mrs. Gilbert Floyd,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan,
Yes.
Mrs. Summer,
Yes.
Mrs. Salagi,
Yes.
Mrs. Byrd,
Yes.
and Mr. Castellano.
Yes. Okay, now I'm going to look for a motion for the remainder of the finance and operations items. That's 6.3 through 6.18. May I have a motion, please?
Motion. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on the remainder of the finance and operations items? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Delabarka,
Yes.
Mr. Ellis, Mrs. Gilbert Floyd,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan,
Yes.
Mrs. Summer,
Yes.
Mrs. Salagi,
Yes.
Mrs. Byrd,
Yes.
and Mr. Castellano.
Yes. Next, moving to personnel, may I have a motion on items 7.1 through 7.5? There is nothing on adjustments this week, correct?
Motion.
Motion and a second.
There is an attachment in adjustments, Mr. Castellano.
There is,
There
okay.
is.
You have approved personnel items 1 through 5, so just double checking it. So
Yep, we will correct that motion to read
1.5 through 1.6.
7 point, yep. I
7.1
got you.
through 7.6.
We're a great team, Mr. Castellano. We'll be all right.
Got
All right, motion to approve personnel items 7.1 through 7.6. Got it.
Okay, good. Any discussion?
Was the motion in second? Sorry, I was correcting that. Who was the
Okay.
motion in the second?
Motion, Nika.
Thank you.
Any discussion?
No discussion, just glad to see that the Multicultural Club has a,
I'm sorry, can you just, I know you don't have a microphone.
oh, I was excited to see about the Multicultural Club and the advisor. That's all.
I didn't hear, but it's okay? Okay.
Okay, may we have roll call on personnel, please?
Mr. Delabarka,
Yes.
Mr. Ellis,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilbert Floyd,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan,
Yes.
Mrs. Summer,
Yes.
Mrs. Salagi,
Yes.
Mrs. Byrd,
Yes.
and Mr. Castellano.
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving now to policy, may I have a motion on 8.1 through 8.3, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion on policy? Anyone here or on the line? Okay.
No.
May we have roll call, please?
Mr. Delabarka,
Yes.
Mr. Ellis, Mrs. Gilbert Floyd,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan,
Yes.
Mrs. Summer,
Yes.
Mrs. Salagi,
Yes.
Mrs. Byrd,
Yes.
and Mr. Castellano.
Yes.
New business.
New business, sorry, I didn't have my microphone on. New business, under new business, I'll be looking for a motion for 9.1 through 9.3, please.
Motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion on new business? Anyone here or on the line?
No.
Okay, seeing none, may I have roll call, please?
Mr. Delabarka,
Yes.
Mr. Ellis, Mrs. Gilbert Floyd,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan,
Yes.
Mrs. Summer,
Yes.
Mrs. Salagi,
Yes.
Mrs. Byrd,
Yes.
Mr. Castellano.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, at this point, we have some communications for you to look at. I'm going to quickly see if we have any closing comments from administration or board members? Any comments of any kind?
I would just like to make a,
President, it's Lou.
Go ahead, Lou.
I just want to thank everyone for making the arrangements so that I can be part of this meeting tonight. It's truly appreciated.
Hold on a second.
Doing the best I can here,
There you go.
working this.
You got it. There you go. Can you try again, Mr. Delabarca?
Yes, I just wanted to thank everyone involved for making this possible for me to be possible meeting tonight. As you all know, I am restricted to my home based on the guidelines that have been presented due to the fire, and I'm glad that I was able to participate. I appreciate that being done.
Well, thank you, Lou. We wish you all the best. You know, as I've said, going forward, our next meeting will be technology-based. I don't have details yet, but next meeting. Any other board members? I saw Miss Sullivan next.
I just want to let everybody here know that my grandkids were over at my house 9 o'clock this morning with their work, and they were so excited to use the computers and do their homeschooling. So I think it's going to be really great for our kids.
Very good, Mrs. Gilbert Floyd.
Oh, I actually was just saying that. I was just saying that it was a smart idea, great idea to have the next meeting technology based. I think that's great, and I agree with Ms. Sullivan that the kids pack their bags. They're excited. My son was like, "I gotta carry my books. I gotta get my work done." My daughter said I have to sign on by a certain time. So we'll see.
First day.
We'll see. Yeah. But
Mr. Price.
they get their assignments, and it's great.
okay, I just want to thank everybody for their patience and for the hard work that our administration, staff, and board members in the community have put in to this situation. And we're going to hope for the best. Hopefully we can get through this sooner than later and get back to normal. And but I think everything is going as smoothly as possible at this point. And again, we appreciate your support and your patience. So thank you.
Great job.
Any other board members?
Yes, I clearly is needed Amy, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Amy.
I also wanted to thank you for making the arrangements so that I can call in as well. I do appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Yes, it's Barbara here. I appreciate being included also.
You're welcome. You're very welcome, Barbara. Any other board members? Anything, Dr. Cruccio, before we...
I just want to remind everybody to make sure you tune into our website because we will be constantly putting updates, whether it's a district website or your child's particular school website or the teacher's website, because that is our means of communication right now. And again, if you're having difficulty, reach out to us so we can find alternate methods to have you feel included in all that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So with that, I want to close where we began. I want to thank board members for their flexibility in working with me to get this meeting done, to do the business we needed to do for the district. I want to thank all of our faculty, all of our staff for doing such a fantastic job to make sure that our students will be learning and those who need meals will be getting them. We are EHT proud, we are EHT strong, and we will get through this. So I want to thank everyone again, and with that, I'm going to look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Aye, signify by saying aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all
Aye.
very much. Be healthy, be safe.